Before we start our video, I want you to imagine that you are a Bank of Ireland employee working in an IT department, earning really fat salary. You met an American girl in Dublin. You liked each other. You go all the way to Alaska to meet her again. And one night, when you were coming from a party very late, or rather say early in the morning, like 4 am, you saw someone over your shoulders, a black figure following you. What will you do in such kind of situation? What will be your reaction? Please let me know in the comments. Before we head further into our today's story, please hit that red button and turn on all the notifications. Also, there is a hidden play button in the video. Find and comment its timestamp. So, let's get back to the story. For a 22-year-old, Trevor Deely, things were looking pretty good in 2000. The Irishman had been working in the IT department of Bank of Ireland, asset management in Dublin, where he was considered a model employee and had a lot of friends. He was considered a cheerful and reliable guy, and he had a new American girlfriend he had met in Dublin, who he had just been over to see in Alaska. By all accounts, there was nothing to even hint at the weird events that were about to unfold for him, and no one would have probably ever guessed that he would end up as one of Ireland's most mysterious and baffling unsolved mysteries. On Thursday, December 7th, 2000, Deely attended an office Christmas party at the Hilton Hotel on Charlemont Place, and after that, he and some buddies decided to keep the party going by going to an establishment called Buckwell's nightclub on Lower Leeson Street in Dublin. There they chatted over drinks until Deely left at approximately 3:30 in the morning and headed to his office, where he allegedly made some emails and tended to some business for the following day. While talking to a colleague named Carl Pender, at this point, there still wasn't anything particularly bizarre about any of this other than the early morning hour. And when Deely left the office at around 4 am, he entered a steady downpour with an umbrella in hand to go back to his flat in the Renoir complex on Serpentine Avenue in Ballsbridge. There was nothing out of place just yet. He was described by Pender as being a bit tipsy, and there was a taxi strike going on at that time, so he was forced to walk. But his home was not far, and it wasn't really a big deal at that time. He even left a voicemail for a friend on the way to let him know he was heading home and would call again the following day. However, Deely would never make it home, and in fact hasn't been seen or heard from since. The following day, when Deely didn't show up for work, it was considered a little odd, as he was never late. But considering how late he had been out the previous night, many co-workers just assumed he had slept in. He never did show up, and when he still did not show up for work, the following Monday, people began to worry. Deely's flatmates were contacted, but they had been away for the weekend and had no idea what Trevor had been up to. But it was obvious to them that he was not there. The local authorities, the Garda, were notified and found that there had been no further use of Deely's cell phone after that call to his friend. They then went through CCTV footage from the evening in question, and that is when some rather eerie clues would emerge. Footage from before Deely went into his office on that evening showed that there had been a man dressed in black about the front gates for about half an hour before the missing man arrived. In the footage, Deely shows up and has short chat with the unidentified man before heading inside and locking up the gates behind him. It does not seem to be an altercation of any kind. And after this, the mystery man leaves. When Deely exited his office at around 4 am, this man is nowhere to be seen. It is not known who this man was, or whether he had arranged to meet with Deely or what they talked about. And just about the only thing police know for sure is that he was not an employee of the bank. This might at first seem to have no clear connecting to the disappearance, but it would become very relevant and more sinister when other CCTV footage was looked at. Another piece of footage was retrieved from a camera on Haddington Road near the bank, which shows Trevor walking along in the rain with his umbrella at 4:15 am. Because of the early hour, the fact that the weather was so bad, and the absence of taxis, there is no one else on the street at that time. However, 34 seconds after Deely passes the camera, a man in dark clothing also passes by, appearing very much as if he is following him. Making it even spookier is that the Gada highly suspect that this is the same man who was seen in the earlier footage waiting at the bank's gates. Who was this person, and what connection does he have to Deely, if any? No one knew then, and no one knows now. After this, Deely is not picked up on any other CCTV footage, and there are no more sightings of him, as if he just stepped off the face of the earth. In the meantime, flyers and posters were being put up everywhere looking for information on Deely's whereabouts. Revolts posted, and there was urging by the Gada for the man in footage or anyone who knew him to step forward. But none of this led anywhere. Authorities scoured the entire area, even dredging the bottom of the canal that goes through, but no trace of Deely was ever found. Anyone who had recent contact with Deely was also thoroughly questioned, including the friends at the party, Pender, and even the girl he had gone to visit the previous month in Alaska. But there was nothing suspicious at all, and no new leads. In fact, not a trace of Trevor Deely has ever been found. When the investigation was reopened in 2016, there was a promising lead with a witness who claimed that Deely had been involved in an argument with a drug dealer. But this never led anywhere of any real significance. This has all been very baffling, not only for police, but also for Trevor's family. What in the world happened to Trevor Deely? Did he run off, or was he the victim of a foul play? If so, who would want to make him disappear, and why? Who is the mysterious man in the CCTV footage? And what part does he have to play in all of this? What words did he and Trevor exchange during that brief meeting at the bank gates? These are the kinds of questions that orbit this case and have not been dispelled. Trevor Deely seems to have just evaporated into thin air. And to this day, there is no good lead, no suspect, and no answers to any of the many questions he has left in his wake. So please let me know in the comments your thoughts about today's video. If you love such kind of mysterious disappearances, please check out my playlist. You can find many more cases in there. Also, if you are new to our channel, please hit that red button and turn on all the notifications. Till then, take care.